Welcome back, Grade 9. We're diving right into today's explainer. We spend so much of our day reading without even realizing it, right? Scrolling through social media, glancing at a warning sign, maybe checking the back of a medicine bottle. But have you ever actually stopped to think about exactly why those words were written and who wrote them? Well, today, we're going to learn how to decode the exact intentions behind the everyday text we encounter. We're going to transform you from a passive reader into an active, analytical thinker. Let's get into it. Here's our quick roadmap for today. We've got our objective, we'll define perspective and purpose, explore some functional texts, look at a real-world analysis model, clear up a common misconception, and finally wrap up with a quick check. All right, Section 1, today's objective. Let's see exactly what we're learning and analyzing today. By the time we wrap up this explainer, you're going to know exactly how to pinpoint why an author wrote a text. And hey, we aren't just talking about novels or poems here. We're zeroing in on functional texts, those everyday, real-world survival tools like consumer documents and technical directions that you interact with constantly. Moving on to Section 2, defining perspective and purpose. Let's unpack the author's intent. Okay, so the big takeaway here is that literally every author has a distinct reason for writing. We call this the author's purpose. When an author sits down to create a text, they might want to entertain you or inform a wider audience about a factual topic. Maybe they want to investigate a public action or support a common belief, which, is basically just a polite way of saying they want to persuade you. Identifying this core motivation is your absolute first step as a text analyst. Now, here's the thing. Perspective isn't just some random opinion. An author's perspective is built directly on their actual knowledge about a topic. And how do we spot it? Through their chosen point of view. Are they using a first-person point of view, dropping keywords like I and me to share a personal experience? Or are they taking a third-person approach, using words like he, she, or they to present a more distant, objective stance? The specific words an author chooses totally give away their attitude toward the subject. Which brings us to Section 3, exploring functional texts. We're looking at consumer documents and technical directions. I know. You hear the phrase functional texts and probably think of super boring, dry paperwork. But honestly, these are dynamic, real-world survival tools. We're talking about the consumer labels and technical directions that literally tell you how to act, what to avoid, and how to just stay safe in your environment. They are designed for a specific utility, and because of that, their author's purpose is incredibly laser-focused. Let's look at a classic example of technical directions. OSHA accident prevention signs. OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, mandates very specific designs based on exactly what the author wants to achieve. If the purpose is to warn of an immediate danger that needs special precautions, boom, they use a danger sign with a strict red, black, and white design. But if the purpose is just to warn of a potential hazard or an unsafe practice, they'll use a caution sign with a yellow background and black panels. They've also got white and green safety instruction signs for general measures and specific signs for biological hazards. The author's perspective here? Definitely a strict protective safety expert. Another massive category of functional texts is consumer documents. A perfect example is the FDA over-the-counter drug facts label. The FDA makes sure every single non-prescription medicine follows this exact format. It has to list the active ingredients, the purpose, the uses, meaning what symptoms it actually treats, along with warnings, directions for dosage, and inactive ingredients. The author's purpose here is standardizing the info so a wider audience of consumers can safely choose and use medicines without a doctor right there telling them what to do. All right, Section 4, Analysis Model. Time to apply our skills to some real-world texts. Take a look at this actual Facebook post from our very own St. Paul American School clerk. It reads, "Discover how St. Paul American School prepares students for success beyond the classroom. Our high school program offers a rigorous American curriculum." Think about the word choice here. Success, rigorous. The author's perspective is from a super enthusiastic insider, right? And the purpose? It's clearly to support a belief and heavily persuade parents and students that this is absolutely the right educational choice. Now check this out. It's really fascinating to put an FDA label and an OSHA danger sign side by side. Both are functional texts meant to keep you safe, sure, but the intensity of their purposes, totally different. The FDA label's purpose is to inform the consumer. It provides the data you need to make a safe choice. The OSHA danger sign, however, exists to forcefully mandate immediate safety precautions. It doesn't just inform, it commands action right now to prevent severe injury or even death. This table really pulls it all together. You can see the clear interrelationship between the text, the target audience, and the author's overarching purpose in writing it. A promotional post targets parents to persuade them. A drug label targets everyday consumers to inform them. And that danger sign, it targets workers and the public to mandate safety. The author always tailors their text structure and word choice to perfectly fit who they're talking to and what they want to happen. Let's pause for Section 5, Misconception Check. We need to clear up a really common misunderstanding. So you might glance at an OSHA sign or an FDA label and think, well, there's no story here, no main character, just a bunch of technical rules. Therefore, it lacks an author's perspective or a specific purpose. It is super easy to fall into the trap of assuming that because a text is highly technical and objective, the author is just somehow missing from the equation. But actually, scratch that. The fact is, functional texts are some of the most hyper-focused documents out there. The authors of these texts, whether they are government scientists at the FDA or safety experts at OSHA, have a relentless purpose: to protect or inform you. They purposely adopt an objective, third-person perspective, relying on their expert knowledge to ensure you stay safe and healthy. Literally, every single word and color choice is calculated to nail that purpose. Almost done. Section 6. Formative check and recap. Let's test your knowledge.
Okay, quick scenario. Imagine you're an analyst looking at an industrial workplace, and you see an OSHA sign. Based on what we just learned, which specific type of OSHA sign has the exact author's purpose to warn against potential hazards and unsafe practices? Take a second. Think back to those categories and colors we discussed.
Got it? Well, if you guessed caution signs, you hit the nail on the head. The author's purpose here is specifically to warn of a potential threat. That's a huge difference from a danger sign, which an author uses exclusively for an immediate threat requiring special precautions right away. That yellow background and black panel, totally deliberate structural choices made by the author to instantly communicate this specific level of caution. To wrap things up, we've successfully covered a ton of ground today. We learned how to recognize and analyze an author's purpose, distinguishing between informing, persuading, or investigating. We saw how an author's perspective is built heavily on their knowledge and revealed through their point of view. And, most importantly, we took these analytical skills and applied them directly to functional texts, specifically consumer documents like FDA labels and technical directions like OSHA signs. So, I'll leave you with this. The next time you grab some over-the-counter medicine for a headache, or you walk past a bright yellow safety sign in a construction zone, don't just blindly pass it by. Stop and ask yourself, what kind of expert knowledge does this author have? What exactly are they demanding I do? And why might my safety depend on understanding it? Thanks for tuning in to today's Explainer, Grade 9. Keep questioning the world around you.